It seems no matter whereabouts I am, there it is, breathing behind me, growling, like the sound of some great animal on the hunt. But it echoes strangely as if it's coming from the cellars, if you take my meaning.
And, these sounds are the only sensations you report?
Oh, no, sir. Blimey, didn't your friend here tell you? I hear its claws, sir. Monstrous big ones, they must be too, scraping and gouging at the earth. I'll even look over and see their marks, but whenever I go closer to inspect them, they vanish. And the boy doesn't hear nor see none of it, no matter how close by he is when it happens.
Well, that settles it. Don't you think, Professor?
Yes, I rather think it does.
Mr. Banks, why don't you come with me?
As you wish, sir.
Professor?
Oh, no. I think I'll take a look around the garden first. I'll be with you shortly.
You've got an explanation for all this, have you, sir? You see, I'm not what you'd call a fanciful man. Never held chuck with ghosts and the like.
Oh, it's no ghost, Mr. Banks. This way.
Oh, somewhere peaceful at last. At least, for the moment. Now, it's time to find the doctor.
Ah! But how did you get here? I just came through and I didn't hear.
I'm sorry I startled you, but I have a very important question that needs answering as soon as possible.
You're not one of them ghosts, are you? Has her ladyship finally brought you across the dimensions or through the veil, or whatever it is?
I'm afraid I don't know what any of that means. I am here looking for a person called the Doctor.
Ooh, well, don't let her ladyship hear you say that. He was here yesterday. A terribly tall man with far too much hair and the longest scarf I've ever seen. His smile was quite unnerving too, although I think he meant it in a friendly way.
Could it be the same doctor twice?
Oh, here comes Lady Geraldine now. Please, whatever you do, don't mention the doctor.
I see we have another visitor. Thank you, Doris. I shall entertain our guest from here.
Yes, your ladyship.
I am Lady Geraldine Fitzwater. I take it you are the assistant Mr. Stanley writ to Cambridge for? Or perhaps you are with Professor McCrimmon?
I am from Cambridge, yes, but when I was dispatched, we hadn't yet heard from Mr. Stanley. I'm to check up on him.
This project of ours seems to positively breed haste and impatience in you normally studious types. Now, what was your name again?
I am an Arbiter.
An Arbiter. Very well, then. Come with me. I'll take you to the gentleman.
Your ladyship, if I might.
What is it, Doris?
It's Mr. Banks, your ladyship. The gardener. He always takes his lunch at the shed with his boy precisely at noon, and he hasn't been seen since 8 o'clock. And I thought, when I was returning from your errand at 8:30, your ladyship, I thought I heard his voice as I approached the house, like a faint call, a cry. I was so occupied that I thought nothing of it until 1:30 when the boy got up the courage to tell me something was wrong, your ladyship.
Don't fret, Doris. I'm aware of Mr. Banks' absence. I sent him out this morning, in fact. Tell the boy to continue with his duties as normal, such as he can, and not worry about the rest today.
Yes, your ladyship.
What was that?
What?
That sound.
Didn't hear nothing. If you'll excuse me, your ladyship.
Yes, go on about your duties. A lovely girl, Doris. She's got such vitality, such life energy. One can't waste vitality, I always say. And yet she is such a good worker, so conscientious, that it's almost a pity.
I'm afraid I don't understand. Your ladyship.
It's only my private joke, darling. Now, let us join the men at work. Mr. Stanley, there's a Miss... an Arbiter from Cambridge here to check on your progress.
Everything's going quite well, Lady Geraldine. I don't need checking on.
Well, you can take that up with your visitor. And this is Professor McCrimmon. He's up from Oxford to make his own observations. I'll leave you gentlemen to it.
Professor, I was under the impression Mr. Stanley had help from someone with a doctorate.
Oh no. No doctors here, I'm afraid.
Not anymore, thank God. That fellow who showed up yesterday. Not that I believe he really was a doctor of anything, the way he acted. No respect at all. Spying on our work, that's what he was doing, if you ask me.
What have you discovered that's worth spying on?
Professor, you can explain. I've got work to finish here.
Yes, of course. Over here, I'll show you the readings. So, it's you again.
You remember me?
More or less. It was several lifetimes ago, but I had a feeling you'd show up again at some point. Why are you here?
This house is a focal point for temporal instability.
Yes, and it's getting exponentially worse. If I can't do something to stabilize it soon, the web of time will twist itself to shreds.
Is it that bad? All I've seen was the way Lady Geraldine's clothing changed as we entered the laboratory. An entirely different style.
From the 1980s to the 1960s. That's a dangerously large temporal slip, and it's not the first time it's happened either. When I was speaking with the gardener this morning, he seemed to think it was 1950. The local time can't take much more, and once the web rips, the gap will tear open faster and faster until... well, it won't come to that.
The gardener. The maid mentioned he hadn't been seen since this morning. Do you know what's happened to him?
What makes you think I'd know?
You seem to be the last person who spoke to him.
Actually, that would be Stanley. He brought Mr. Banks indoors, while I stayed in the garden to take some readings. I thought there might be residual energy where Banks last heard his phantom monster.
Phantom monster?
Yes. It seems something's been following him around the house and grounds.
Growling?
You've heard it?
In the hall. I think the maid, Doris, might have heard it too. She denied it, but... she wasn't very believable.
She's the fourth to notice.
The others?
The chauffeur went missing 6 days ago. The cook the day before yesterday. Lady Geraldine claims she fired the chauffeur and the cook went to visit family. She's lying. Here, have a look at Mr. Stanley's readings.
Those energy patterns don't belong in the 1960s. Or the 1980s.
Or at any other point in Earth's history.
What about your readings? I'm sure they're more useful than anything Stanley's instruments picked up.
Here.
But that looks like...
yes, an atemporal entity of some sort.
It's getting stronger. This energy spike this morning. Right around the time the gardener disappeared. It took him. And the other two before him.
I'm afraid so.
You think Lady Geraldine knows about this? You said she was lying about the cook and the chauffeur.
Oh, she knows. She brought Stanley in to build all this machinery. What do you think of it?
It's a primitive energy extracting unit. It'll transfer life force or temporal energy from one being to another. They're feeding this thing, sacrificing the servants to it. But why?
Maybe Lady Geraldine thinks she can use it, or maybe she's just trying to appease it, prevent it from coming after her. See the lower frequency of the waveforms after it devoured the gardener? It's taking a nap, digesting. It won't be a threat until it's hungry again.
And how will we know when...
You heard it?
The same growling sound. But Stanley doesn't seem to have noticed.
He's not time sensitive.
But the maid and the gardener...
I believe the creature slips partway into the third dimension when it's ready to feed. They only hear it when it's coming for them.
Then Doris is in danger.
Don't worry, I've got everything under control. Stanley, it's time. Stay here. We'll return in a moment.
But I thought I wasn't ever to go into the laboratory, your ladyship. Not even to sweep the floor, you said.
And now I'm saying you're needed. Come along now. There's no time to waste. Mr. Stanley, there you are. Take her on, would you?
What are you doing, sir? Your ladyship, I don't understand.
Don't worry, Doris. Just go along with them.
What are you saying? Don't you see what they're doing? They're going to give this poor girl to the monsters, just like the others.
What monsters? What others? What's going on?
You'll be fine, Doris. Don't fight now.
I won't let you do this.
Get out of the way!
I've got the door.
Arbiter, you can't stop this!
Grab them. Don't let them interfere.
Got him! Professor, help me! The room across the hall! We can lock him in!
I've got the key. I'll take care of this. You handle things in the laboratory.
Yes. Yes, of course. After you, Lady Geraldine.
I thought better of you, Doctor. Letting them sacrifice that girl. Helping them do it?
You don't understand what's going on here. You can't simply show up in the middle of things and pass judgment.
Isn't that what you do?
Not until I have all the facts.
Give me the facts, then.
I had a conversation with Stanley before you arrived. He's agreed not to sacrifice Doris.
An attack of conscience? After killing 3 other people?
Hardly. I've simply persuaded him there's a better sacrifice available. He's going to attach Lady Geraldine to her own machinery, let the creature take her instead of Doris.
How is that any better? You're still helping him commit murder.
It's a fixed point in time, Arbiter. That creature is going to kill again within the next few minutes, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm bending the laws of time to the breaking point just by changing who gets sacrificed. At least this way, it's not an innocent, it's the person who's responsible for all this. If anyone in the house deserves to die, it's her. It's the best I can do.
I don't sense a fixed point in time.
And you're as time-sensitive as a Time Lord, are you? Trust me, it's there. Someone's going to die, but at least I can analyze the process, learn more about this creature. Once it's devoured Lady Geraldine, it'll need time to digest her life force, and I'll have a chance to stop it then, while it's resting. I could use your help.
No, I won't take part in this.
Then I'm afraid I'll have to lock you in after all. I can't have you interfering.
This is wrong, Doctor. You can't let it kill her.
I don't have a choice. Doris, get out of the house!
I don't understand what's happening, sir. Mr. Stanley, he just grabbed her ladyship and chained her to the wall in the lab and told me to get out. There's a terrible snarling noise in there, and her ladyship yelling at Mr. Stanley
And you're in danger every moment you stay here. Go into town and don't come back until tomorrow. Everything will be dealt with by then.
But those awful noises, I've heard them before. Not as loud, but...
They won't bother you anymore. I promise. Now go on.
Yes, sir.
This primitive lock won't hold me, Doctor. You left the key in the lock? Careless. Unless you wanted me to get out. If I can just get the edge of my coat under the door.
Help me. They're trying to kill me. Stanley and McCrimmon are both quite mad. Please, you must stop them.
Doctor, stop, or I'll smash these components.
You'll blow up the whole machine!
If it stops you from killing her.
She's going to die one way or another. I've told you, it's a fixed point in time. If you interfere, if you destroy the machine, you'll only make things worse.
Worse than you murdering someone?
Arbiter, trust me! Put down that hammer!